And welcome. This is Our Reviews Will Kill You, the fantabulous Friday night podcast that takes you places that you only dreamed you would go. We discuss pop culture, movies, TV, fun news stories. I am joined by my illustrious co-host, Baby Yoda, and I am the man they know as Z, and I am joined by the most nefarious of Spider-Hams. He likes to color coordinate his outfits in the most spantabulous ways. It is the Noob-Noob.
I have an important announcement later.
Oh boy. Oh boy. We've got our chat going live, and I can see already that we've got Ron Cole, the Stone Cold Killer. We've got... I don't see Doc LA Medic yet, but I do see Burn Doritos, so I see some of our party people out there, the usual. So welcome, friends. And I also have our other illustrious host, the one who is for liberty and justice, the Scott Keebler.
Hello again. It is Friday night, and a good Friday night on top of that. As of a few minutes ago, the Pittsburgh Penguins are officially out of the playoffs. So woohoo and tough shit, Pittsburgh. Sorry, not sorry.
Sports.
Let's move on. Sports. But yes, the chat is up. If you're with us live, we want to see you pop in. Star Z is on tight right. I don't know what that means. Schrader gave us a whole bunch of bumblebees. So
we love bumblebees.
We love bumblebees. So whatever that all means, we got that going for us as well. But as always, we're going to go ahead and we're going to clean up our laundry and do some housekeeping if we will. I don't know if you guys heard, but there was a Bernie sighting in Kansas City. Were you guys aware of this?
Bernie who? Bernie Mac?
Bernie Madoff.
Bernie from
Oh,
Weekend at Bernie's.
That is
okay.
That is a great Bernie sighting.
Somebody
he was in the Kansas City Royals game.
At the Kansas City Royals game was Weekend at Bernie's. If you're familiar with the show, that guy is dead.
Is that actually the Weekend at Bernie's guy?
That's the Weekend at Bernie's guy.
I watched the movie because I'm not 85 years old.
That's
That's
the Weekend at Bernie's guy. So that was humorous.
Okay.
We thought I thought I'd throw that in real fast.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good sighting. I'll take that sighting.
That's a good sighting. And of course, we want to let you all know that Z and Noob-Noob are continuing their quest amongst feudal Japan with the series Ghost of Tsushima. We had episode 9 dropped yesterday, and our final episode, of course, will be dropping tomorrow on Saturday. So
you mean the guy who's put 30 hours into the game and just expects me to play it every 7 days?
Our goal, if you continue to watch our playthrough, is to see how long it takes me to get murdered.
Yes, there could be a murdering, and Baby Yoda will be part of it.
I mean, the only reason I'm listening is because I have to, because I'm editing the video together, and just that enough is what makes me want to murder you. So, yeah, that works for me. But so that's all the housekeeping I have for this week. Oh, and of course, if you haven't started watching it yet, we're letting you know to start watching. If you have CBS streaming, start watching Star Trek Below Decks or Under Decks or what is it?
Lower Decks.
Lower Decks. So watch Star Trek Lower Decks. We'll be talking about that in the future. I watched Netflix has season 4 of 7 Deadly Sins, so we'd like our listeners and viewers to watch that as well, because we'll talk about that in the near future. Do you guys have anything on deck there or that you're watching?
I don't know.
Umbrella Academy.
No, well, are we gonna like fully review that, or
I
just
don't know. I'm the only
review
one
it?
who saw it. So.
Actually, about half.
That's also
of it,
not
so...
true. I also finished it as well. So
okay.
See,
well,
you're
maybe
not
we
alone.
can. Yeah, I don't know. I guess so.
but
Noob-Noob is not alone.
So there's
I'm rewatching The 100.
there's 2 shows for you guys to watch out there to catch up, and because we'll talk about them later on. Just giving you a heads up so you know.
I feel like some movie got released this weekend, but I don't know. We'll have updates for you as we peruse this.
We have really put some thought into this opening. Lovely.
Well, put some thought into drinking before we started the show.
Yes. Well, why don't we move past the opening and into the table of contents?
Let's talk about really relevant news stories like Robert Pattinson's biggest role ever, zombie bugs with STDs. I'm interested in that. There's a big Disney Plus announcement for a big price tag. Ryan Reynolds.
So big.
Oh, so big. Ryan Reynolds is trolling again. The FBI raids a YouTube star. And Schrodinger's cat. We're gonna learn you today. This is a physics lesson and quantum theory. So you're gonna leave enlightened and a little titillated. And then Scott has his own special section because he wants to feel nice and fuzzy inside. Before we jump to reviews of some robots, some umbrellas, and volcanic sharks.
We had in the chat, apparently Mulan released for $30 on Disney Plus. But guess what? That's a spoiler for our news later, so our chat is already ahead of the game there.
Oh, they're so far ahead.
Okay.
Our audience is way ahead of us.
Way to ruin our news for us, audience.
Good news, everyone.
So this first news story, I'm honestly not sure. First off, it's fake news. Second off, I'm not sure why I was given this as the lead-off news story because it doesn't involve anything relevant nor interesting.
You understand that the news is not actually given in order. It's just given as
No, it's
found.
given in order, and I follow it as
okay.
such. So Twilight, the lovable teen romance comedy written by a 37-year-old with slight Down syndrome. It's apparently the #1 sports movie on Netflix, which is, I don't know if that's factually accurate.
I thought it was the
probably
greatest
not.
sports movie of all time.
It does have a sports scene, though. So that's a thing.
So I've never actually seen any of these movies.
I've seen Twilight, and there's a sports theme, and they have who sings Muse? Oh, that's the band. They have a Muse song playing in the background of this, and look at that angelic white man swinging the bat with one hand.
Who's that guy? Is he a vampire?
He is a they're all
Why does
vampires.
everyone have bats? They all have bats.
I've also never
Like-
seen this movie, so
They
these are
like
just
to use their own bats.
These are just-
this is my favorite of the series. To be
Do
honest,
they use aluminum bats?
They do.
Or do they use wooden bats?
That looks aluminum to me.
Would they use wooden bats? Wouldn't that be a bad idea
that
if
would
they
be
were vampires?
That would be a hazardous situation because a broken bat then becomes a stake, and everyone knows the only way to kill vampires with stakes or sunlight, unless of course you're in this universe, in which case in sunlight you sparkle for some unknown reason.
Or twinkle.
I also know that these images may or may not be from the movie itself.
No, they're from the movie.
I believe it is because there's Kristen Stewart showing the only emotion that she's capable of,
Yes, open mouth.
and half closed eyes. And the other one is holding semen in her cheeks. Apparently, I don't know exactly
Oh my
what's
god!
going,
Wow, Scott,
No,
you're getting on the
what's-
noob
what's-
train.
going on there. But
Okay, I wasn't prepared for that.
I did not see these movies, so I was just guessing here. So, but apparently,
Scott made a funny. Wow.
Scott did make a funny.
Scott made a
He
funny.
spent some time writing that
Scott
one.
made a funny.
Looks like Team Guhas is out there. Mark D, nice to be there. Good to see you.
yeah, I was wondering what Guha was because now we have people randomly in our
God's
chat.
unholy
Hat Association.
God's unholy hateful angels. I forget. There's a reason
Hateful
for it.
anals? Do you hate anal?
Hateful
God,
anals.
God usually
Oh.
hates anal. That
MD, you like hate you have hateful anal with your spouse probably. Or if you're single, I'm available. And but yeah, so Netflix has the best sports trilogy of all time. Quadrilogy? Quadrilogy.
So who said-
Sports
who
is only
said-
featured. What?
who said that was who said that was Netflix's sports?
Can't verify the
Or-
veracity
I
of
was
that
given
story.
a news story, tried to research, couldn't find anything, so we're just kind of making it
We
up.
suspect it was one of those Netflix, like, you know how they like to mess with the titles with the descriptions of movies at some point? I think it came up that they had Twilight listed as the greatest sports movie of all time.
You are fake news.
But we cannot verify the veracity of
There
that.
is
So maybe
nothing-
you heard it here first that Twilight is the greatest sports movie of all time.
Or maybe you heard it here only and nowhere else because we're the only ones that said it.
Maybe.
So going from one unbelievable vampire story to an unbelievable zombie story, and that's zombie cicadas. And their mind
Not
controlling
zombie X's.
their mind controlling fungus infecting like an STD. So that makes sense.
So we went from murder hornets,
To
which may or may not be used as a weapon.
to sex crazed zombie cicadas.
Wasn't there something in between that?
No.
Yeah, there was.
Was there?
Yeah, there was some sort of poll we put up, wasn't there, Scott, where we were debating what was the worst thing ever?
That was the one where we found out that I didn't like cars, right?
No, wasn't it Murder Hornets?
No, it was Murder Hornets. Oh,
Cannibal
Rats.
Rats.
Yes, Cannibal
It was like
Rats.
3 years ago, wasn't it?
No, there was like 2 episodes ago.
Oh my
What
God.
are you, high? So now we've been infected with zombie cicadas.
Yes. So zombie cicadas in the U.S.
They lure U.S. victims?
lure U.S. victims, specifically just U.S., they hate us, with the promises of sex before passing on a deadly virus and a mind-controlling parasite. Can you have sex with a cicada?
Is this like the cordyceps mushroom
I don't-
infection
This is
from
something.
Last of
It's
Us
something
2?
like that, but this is a fungus instead. Apparently,
It's not a virus.
it's not a virus. No. Do you actually know what's going on? Because I actually do know a little bit
Well,
About
researchers about sex zombie cicadas, you know that.
about zombie cicadas. Yes.
Yeah, so apparently researchers in West Virginia discovered these last summer, and they found that the bugs douse other cicadas with spores that cause the same infection, leading them to nickname them flying salt shakers of death. Okay.
That's a little hyperbolic, but sure.
I like it. I like Flying Salt Shakers of Death. Sounds like a band name. I like it.
So what do you know about
So
zombie cicadas? then, Scott?
apparently, what happens is like this fungus when it infects a male cicada, it makes the male cicada change its behavior to imitate a female cicada, to then attract more males to then infect them with the fungus. So it completely takes over their body, manipulates them into attracting more cicadas, and then of course spreading its spore. So yeah, it's fucked up.
Yes, but at least they get sex out of it. So that's always worth it.
Speaking of not getting any sex, it seems like the chat, we have a couple more people out there. We do have Bird Doritos, and we did have Doc LA Medic, but we also have somebody who wants more red wine.
Yes, that's very interesting.
That's very interesting. I don't understand what that person is talking about.
I feel like there's there's a quid pro quo system.
I feel like
with your mouth.
I feel
that
like
you should probably do.
It means like you can only enjoy Noob-Noob if you're drunk. Perhaps I believe that's probably what that's insinuating.
That sounds very accurate.
Yes.
Or with roofies.
You can enjoy Noob-Noob with roofies?
Yes. And zombie cicadas. I'm bringing that into the mix now. I'm going to have a 3-way with the zombie cicada soon.
But yeah, what's gross about this is you see here in the images, and this is another reason for you to tune into our podcast on video so you can see the disgusting images I'm putting up on screen here. It's a fungus that makes the body of the cicada fall apart, and yet it continues to keep functioning. Like,
is it like shitting itself?
it's-
Like what
It's
is that?
shaking. It's like they said, it's a salt shaker. So clearly it spreads the fungus.
yeah, and
All
and
over the-
as the body falls apart, the thing keeps moving and keeps attracting more cicadas. So it's
Yummy.
disgusting. Yummy.
So now you have to worry about zombie cicadas.
Okay.
But
What
only
else?
only every 17 years.
Like Slender Man.
Yes.
Like Slender Man?
Sure.
Okay.
Slender Man. That movie sucked, by the way. Okay. So let's move on to something equally shitty, but from Disney, and that's that they're charging us $30 to watch Mulan, which I don't give a shit about anyway, because they're foregoing their theater release.
They're just abandoning it. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here.
Disney just has no idea what to do with Mulan, so like, you know what we're going to do? We have a streaming service, and we're going to charge you more than it takes to purchase the movie, and on top of paying for our streaming service. So you're basically paying, in the month you watch Mulan, like $40-something.
Which is actually still cheaper than taking an entire family to the movie theater.
I agree.
Well,
I
sure,
agree
just don't
with that.
take your family. Like, that's fine.
It's funny, this Engadget article says Disney has no idea what it's doing with Mulan.
Yeah.
I mean, would you pay for like I wasn't really excited to see it to begin with, so this doesn't make me any more or less excited to see it.
This was not one I was planning on seeing in the movie theater, so I probably won't be watching it at home either, especially not for $30.
No.
I wasn't going to watch it specifically because there's no Mushu.
Yeah, that's right.
And
there
if
is
there's no
Mushu.
Mushu, there's no
Sushu.
Zemu.
Who is a Zemu?
Baron Zemu.
That is the bad guy in Captain America?
No, that's Baron Zemo.
Okay. There's a difference. There's two different ones.
Yes.
There's a Zemu and a Zima.
I don't know. It just doesn't look... It looks like, I don't know, like an epic action movie. And I'm just not like... I don't think I saw Gladiator in theaters, so why would I see this?
I mean, I am guessing she probably does know how to work that bow and arrow, unlike other people in this room.
Oh, boy.
But I mean,
What?
In your room? You're in
in-
your
in-
own
in
room.
this
Are you
chat-
talking about yourself?
in this chat or the show, shall we? I was saying room as in chat room.
Are you saying
as in
certain people
certain-
of ethnicities don't know how to work a bow with like a long bow?
You're talking
Yes,
about
like
a
a
shaft?
long bow.
They don't
especially,
understand the shaft?
especially if you're
Okay.
controlling it with a remote controller.
Oh boy, that's
In a video
You know,
game.
certain pumps that are electronic really make it get more girth. So
What are we talking about here?
Penis and yes,
And Mulan? What do those two have anything to
Mushu,
do?
Mulan, and penis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wow, wow,
and
wow,
yes,
wow, wow,
yes,
wow.
Vern. Shots are thrown. Burdette,
So
Bert- I don't know. I just made a nickname.
Can't pronounce
up for-
anything.
I just
You just
no. I just
mispronounced everybody in
made a
chat.
random nickname up for Jay Bird. I think is that what
Jay
you call
Bird.
him?
You're like, yo,
now
bird.
it's Jay Bird. Now it's Jay Bird. That's
Bird
his
is
new
the
nickname.
word.
So, but yeah,
Yes,
so they'll lose money.
I guess the only good thing is you're technically you're buying it, so it's not like you're renting it for $30. So that's good.
But everything else you can buy for $15.
Sure.
So you're going to
yeah.
spend twice as much on a movie when most movies you can buy on Amazon or streaming or anything else for like $15 to $18. So if you're going to do that, you really need to match the price of what movies are, not $30 to try and make your money back when you're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna watch it. That's for sure. So
I just don't. Yeah, I don't know. Is this going to bring new subscribers to Disney Plus? I don't know.
Doubtful. They need more than just Mulan to bring in more subscribers to that.
So, speaking of another movie that bombed,
yes, Ryan Reynolds is making his own cut, the Green Lantern Reynolds cut.
he did make his own cut.
Yeah, he's just jumping in.
Are you going to play this? Are we going to get
the
cut
cut
for this?
pool.
No,
Oh, man.
we won't
Here
get
we go.
cut. This was played on Reynolds' Twitter, I guess.
Okay.
So,
Ryan Reynolds' Twitter.
So theoretically, we're not going to get cut. But if we do, we ask everybody to go back to our channel and sign into the new stream. But
How about you just don't play any volume on it, and people can just assume what happens, and we'll describe it for you.
I'll just keep
It's
the
not like
volume.
there's new scenes.
I'll just keep the volume.
These are just
really
edited scenes together.
low.
It's
From a
Reynolds.
movie from how long ago?
5 years ago? No, more than 5. I don't know.
Well,
Yes.
let's just say it's only 30 seconds long, so it's a proper cut of Green Lantern.
It's only 30 seconds long. See, like a smidgen of it is Deadpool.
It's the cut scene at the end of Deadpool where he shoots him in the head while looking at the script.
So
See-
he learns
And
to
then watches
fly,
his father die.
watches his father die, becomes a Green Angel.
Now he's on the
Flies.
planet, and there's Sinestro. And
Talks to a
Punch,
red Mark Strong.
and the
Burns
villain
a thing.
dies. There's Tom
And
Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
And
Oh my God, was
Justice
Tom Cruise
League.
in there?
Yeah, that was Tom Cruise. And that's the end.
And the credits. And that's it. And ladies and gentlemen, that was it. That was the shortest Green
That
Lantern
might have
of
been
all
slightly
time.
better than the Green Lantern cut that was actually released.
I think it was because you have Tom Cruise as the Green
Tom Cruise.
Lantern.
Yeah, isn't that the point, that the actual Green Lantern was Tom Cruise the whole time?
Tom
yes.
Cruise makes the world better.
Yes.
He definitely made that
Scientology
cut.
does explain why Green Lanterns exist.
So that was
'Cause
funny.
aliens are the
That was
leaders.
good. And of course, he did go ahead and drop Green Lantern into the end of Justice League there. So there's your Justice League looking down upon the Green Lantern.
Oh, they're just looking down at him like, we need your help.
Yep.
Or vice versa. They
or,
need help.
or you are a loser.
Ah, yes. Or
So, yeah.
laughing at him.
So that was the Ryan Reynolds Justice or Green Lantern cut.
Is that
100% better.
Is that a hint, though, at the fact that he has been, in fact, asked to reprise his role as Green Lantern for the Snyder Cut? Is he dropping hints for us here?
Oh, that would be awesome. He was still good. I liked him as Green Lantern. I didn't mind him.
Yeah, Green Lantern. He actually came out and said that Green Lantern was a loss because they had half a script written before they went and started filming. So everyone put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that, but it was just an improper script when they went to film it. So
And it got him his wife that's super hot. So.
yeah,
it was a net win for him either way.
Yeah, he won either way. He got Blake Lively out of it. So congratulations, Ryan Reynolds, you cock.
Yeah. Yeah. So going from Ryan Reynolds to Jake Paul. Oh, I accidentally
Which
deleted.
Paul?
I deleted the story. Jake Paul, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
I know there's two Paul guys.
There's Logan Paul, who was the one who went into like Suicide Forest and got canceled, and then
Oh, that's the one we don't like? And
yeah,
then he has
Jake
a,
Paul's
You
the
know what?
younger, douchier brother.
I don't think I like this guy either.
you
They're
don't like
both
him either?
douchey.
Just looking at him, I don't like this guy. But here we have an image of him, Jake Paul, there on one side, and on the other side we have the cops carrying the guns out of his residence over there in California.
Yes.
He has a pretty big mansion.
I mean,
That's a thing.
pretty big house. Apparently, he's a boxer or something. I don't think he was a YouTuber originally. Maybe like his brother or something. I know his.
I think he's always been a YouTuber.
Yeah, his brother is that other douchebag Paul dude who laughed next.
Logan.
Yeah,
Logan Paul was who started first.
Yeah,
and then Jake Paul's younger and just kind of hopped on as.
So he's the one where we went back and reviewed his suicide trip to Japan.
That was-
in the suicide
yes.
forest.
Yes, that was Logan Paul. That was his brother.
That was many episodes ago. So
And
if you
then-
dig through our archives, you can find us commenting on some random YouTube guy named
Yes.
Paul.
And then there's this guy, and if you just look at this image right here, you know why I hate him. Just look at him.
Yes, he is super
Because
douchey.
he is not a communist.
Absolute Neanderthal.
Oh.
He's not liberal enough for you.
No, he is definitely.
Does
a
he not?
complete
He doesn't
Neanderthal.
support Bernie like you do.
So, do you have the reason why he was actually raided?
It says it's FBI is prohibited from commenting on the nature of the investigation.
'Cause it's
No
ongoing.
arrests are planned. And in June, Paul was charged with criminal trespass and unlawful assembly after a video showed him at Scottsdale, Arizona mall as it was being looted. So maybe it's about that.
So actually, yeah. So here is the video we're playing for our viewers. There is Rand Paul's video. It was during the protest in Scottsdale, Arizona. Them outside shooting off fireworks, causing trouble, and then as you'll see later in the video, them walking around the mall. So there's video evidence of him walking around a closed mall that's being looted. So that's why the FBI got involved and why they raided his house. A lot of people were talking about the guns.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, that's why they're saying the raid happened. As for the guns being taken out, yeah, he's got a ton of guns and they did take him out. The official report is that because the residence was unsecured, they couldn't leave the guns in place. So the guns were taking and are just being held until he comes and picks them up.
So they did not confiscate his guns.
So they did not actually confiscate his guns. It's just because
So you're saying he legally owns those guns.
he has to prove that he legally owns them to get them back. That's part of how he has to get them back is the proof of purchase. Here's the video of him actually inside the mall as they're all running around and people are breaking into stores and stuff. But apparently that's what it was. They took the guns because it was an unsecured house. They couldn't leave the guns there, so they just took them to store them. They took your guns to store them until they can. He can prove that he legally owns them with receipts and proofs of purchases and such.
So if he doesn't have receipts, he just loses his guns.
They would have evidence of it in the background checks that he went to.
That's what I
probably get
figured.
done.
Because don't you have to get background checked?
I don't think you keep receipts
I
for your
think
guns.
I think for I don't remember California law. I know Pennsylvania law for handguns you do have to register. For long guns you do not. So you need another version of proof of purchase for your long gun if you need to prove that you actually own it.
So keep that Walmart receipt, folks.
Yeah.
So you didn't buy a militia's worth of guns in California while you were drumming?
I cannot confirm nor deny any allegations.
Okay. So you're a leader of the Second Son militia trying to take over the conservatives and murder everybody.
No. I'm a leader of the Honey Bun Militia,
Oh, boy.
Where you just sit around and consume honey
where we
buns.
just sit around and eat honey buns. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, there is good news for the gaming world, and that is that Fortnite, the lovable game that I hate and think is stupid, added a very iconic character, and that's the Big Lebowski. The dude. I didn't watch this movie. I know that's Jeff Bridges.
The
right?
dude.
That's Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, that's
That is Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges is awesome, by the way.
He is.
I am one of those people. Like there are two camps with this movie. There's only two camps. It's you either
If you tell me right now that you don't like Big Lebowski, I'm gonna mute the shit out of you.
It's just not a good. There's nothing interesting.
Wow, it's awesome because I have control and I just muted Z, so now you can't hear the fact that he has opinions that I don't agree with on Big Lebowski.
Oh boy.
I brought you back.
I'm just saying you're in one of two camps. You either get it or you don't. I don't get it.
And yeah, there's a lot of people who don't get it. There's people who like I saw articles on like why the dude is a horrible human being, and yeah, he is. He's not a role model, but still, he's a great character in a
What was the
meant
point
to
of
be a
that
role
movie?
funny movie.
Like, give me like a 3-sentence synopsis of that movie.
It's a movie about nothing.
So Seinfeld?
Not exactly. It's about a guy who gets confused for someone else who stole something.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just like a.
it's like a case of mistaken identity.
Yeah, it's a mistaken identity crime.
He wants his rug back.
Movie for a guy that doesn't want to be involved in a crime movie.
Yeah, he's like totally not interested in being in a crime movie, yet he's stuck in it. There's a lot of great actors in it. Steve Buscemi, John Goodman. Trust me, I get it. It's iconic.
Tara Reid.
I'm not opposed to it. I don't think people shouldn't watch it. I think people should watch it, and you'll either get it or not get it.
It's
You either like ferrets or you don't like ferrets.
It's one of those things. First off, it does have a ton of quotable lines throughout the years that you've heard over and over again, from "Let's go bowling" to "You're out of your league, Donnie. Shut the fuck up, Donnie." There's Dude, the Duderino, the great dude. There's quotable lines from it left and right. There is it sparked a genre. It's required viewing from some theater background, stuff like that. It's just a classic movie that you either are or you're not going to get.
Didn't it make White Russians popular?
Yeah,
Yes.
It definitely put White Russians on the map.
White Russians are delicious.
So does he have is that French fries in his pocket?
Yeah, I don't understand why he has French fries in his pocket, but I mean it's Fortnight, so I guess that has something to do with that.
He has French fries.
It's also the only time I've ever seen the dude have a sleeve of shotgun shells on his arm as well. I'm assuming that's what they are as well. But
kind of thought he was a pacifist.
I don't know. I never played Fortnite, so I really couldn't tell you.
No, Fortnite is kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't hear as much about it as you used to.
It
It's
still
weird
makes
too because that's aimed at like such a specific demographic, and I don't think those people are playing Fortnite.
Well,
I don't think Scott's playing Fortnite.
Aside from like that kid who won like $15 million, aside from that, nobody plays Fortnite.
Well, a lot of people play Fortnite. It's
Except
just
for a
lot
million
of,
people
young
that play
little
Fortnite.
Twinkie kids.
Whoa.
What? Chalkies?
Whoa.
Okay. So let's move on and let's learn some people today. And we're gonna.
What are you gonna learn people on?
I'm not gonna learn people on anything. I'm just gonna talk about cats and pussy, and then you're gonna learn us on Schrodinger's cat, the revised experiment on quantum theory and quantum mechanics. Because we here at OrkU like to give stock tips, ridiculous news that makes no sense, and learn quantum theory.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I guess this all stems. Well, first of all, in the chat, Mark D says that he thought it was Fat Thor, which is funny because Fat Thor does have a scene where he's supposed to be like the dude.
Yeah, he was modeled.
It was modeled dude, and actually there was a line where I think was it Downey Jr. said "out of the way, Lebowski" or something like that, or maybe it was what's his name, Warhawk,
Somebody
or
Smart Hulk.
No, not Smart Hulk. War Machine. What's his
Maybe.
name? Rhodes.
Yeah.
I think he might have said it. But yeah, so there was that. That was funny. But if you're watching on the screen right now, of course, is Schrodinger's equation.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
That is a thing. They are numbers and symbols, and there's like a little. What's the menorah? There's a menorah at the end.
There's
I think
not a menorah.
That looks like a menorah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know math and
I
menorahs
think
go
there's
together.
a delta square. There's two M's in it.
Upside down triangles.
And a H below the
for
line.
Vagina.
Yeah. And an at symbol.
The chat is asking for Noob-Noob to solve that equation. Please explain.
So
we did spend some time in our Ghost of Tsushima walkthrough explaining quantum theory.
Yes, go ahead, Noob-Noob. Can you explain this?
So negative horse squared minus 2 muff divers, upside down triangle squared plus vaginas, semicolon menorahs equals iRobot, Hell Angels, ats, and menorahs. So
there's no loss.
Hold on.
There's a conservation of menorahs in this.
Here's what I'm thinking.
Not a conservation of mass.
Schrodinger's cat is about the Jews taking back the earth.
Oh my God.
You are such an anti-Semite.
So
It's ridiculous.
saying they're taking it back.
Here's a much simpler math
Like
equation
Nick
for
Cannon
you.
doesn't think is real.
Here's a much simpler equation for you about the cat is live or dead.
Half a pussy
For our-
greater than half a
For
pussy
our
dead.
podcast listeners, this is definitely a more viewable joke going on.
Well,
right
you
here.
just have to explain it to people. It's a thought experiment about Schrodinger's cat. If you stick a cat in a box and the cat has poison in the box, is the cat can be both perceived as alive and dead at the same time. And because it's quantum theory, you don't know that until you actually observe the cat. So once you observe the cat, you interact with it and you know whether or not it's alive or dead. But at any point while it's in the box, you don't know, and that means it's quantumly entangled.
So that's Schrodinger right there. He apparently hates cats, puts them in boxes. I can tell you right now, I know how to make sure the cat is dead.
Oh, Scott has a way.
He loves shooting pussy.
He does, yes.
So this is the new Schrodinger's.
The new Schrodinger's cat theory is much different. Can you please pull
stupider.
that diagram for me? And Bootleg has a comment. He says, cat plus alive and dead equals zombies are real.
Yes.
I agree with that. So there was a revision to this thought experiment. And, we were trying to get Noob-Noob to explain it to us since he is the math wizard that he is.
Yes, I did take geometry.
Grand wizard of math.
I am the grand wizard of many things. And
especially math and hating on religions.
no,
and
I
hating
support
on,
all of the dreidels and Yahtzee. I love Yahtzee. I love it. It's my favorite game.
So before we get started, let's just check on the cat.
Oh, you're going to shoot the cat again? Again, your description of Schrodinger's cat experiment was pretty weak.
Well, here's a better explanation of the new experiment is there are two separate cats in two separate boxes with two separate observers. And the one cat is sitting in a box flipping a coin, and the other cat is trying to use quantum mechanics so that he can tell and predict what the other cat is going to flip on his coin. And you have a 50-50 chance of being right anyway, so all physicists are stupid, and this theory is stupid.
All it gives me cool images where here is a intellectual telekinetic cat that is able to remotely communicate with two other cats with its mind. In our next experiment here, it's whether or not you should electrocute the cat inside the box. I believe that is what image they were trying to show you there is the cats have been electrocuted in two separate boxes, of course. And this is how you feel when you're trying to understand it. Is a cat lost in the corner, just giving up on life because math is dumb.
Again, the main reason you should know Schrodinger's cat is because it is a perfect pickup line to think that women.
And if you want to hear, hear Noob-Noob's
Okay.
perfect pickup line, you can watch our last episode of the Ghost of Tsushima gameplay where Noob-Noob.
Oh, was that in the last one? I forgot. I was so drunk and high, I didn't know what was going
goes
on.
deep into his Schrodinger's cat pickup line, which, of course, we'll tell you now. That's why we're getting into this in this.
You know
episode.
now why I'm so irritated is that he was trying to tie quantum mechanics that he doesn't understand
Yes,
into his ultimate pickup line.
I understand quantum mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
There's mechanics and there's quantum things. The quantum realm. I watched Ant-Man. I'm pretty sure I understand it.
So here's what
we're going to do is we're just going to put an end to this right now, and we're going to take care of the cat.
Oh no.
Can we make sure that you take care of both cats, including
all of the cats,
the coin flipping cat, and the cat that's trying to communicate through a quantum subspace tunnel? All cats.
Don't have Ant-Man crawl in your asshole and explode you.
So anyway, you two can hear the greatest pickup line you've ever heard. I don't even know if he ever gets around to telling.
I honestly don't remember if I did or
because
didn't.
he was so ridiculous.
I was being too busy interrupted from a rude man dying a lot.
Yeah, you really should change it from Z losing a lot, or Noob-Noob should have played to the greatest pickup line ever because it was just so captivating. Anyway, with that being said,
I expect to be invited to all the weddings for this pickup line, so you're welcome.
What is interesting though, it's actually kind of fun to watch the game itself. I'm not ever going to play Ghost of Tsushima, but you can actually sit there, watch the game, and see how it kind of goes while you hear Noob-Noob talk utter nonsense. So it can actually be entertaining while you watch it. It's kind of those weird, It's
like one of those train wrecks you can't not watch, right, Scott?
It's Schrodinger's Noob-Noob. You don't know whether Noob-Noob's funny or not until you
pretty
shoot
obvious
him
I'm
in the
funny.
head.
Scott no funny. Z no good at samurai. Noob funny.
Noob, I'm gonna hand you this apple here.
Okay. What's another revelation of Noob is that I am coming out today.
Oh my God, he's making a revelation.
I'm coming out today as a man and a woman and maybe even a cat because I'm a trisexual. And I think that that's important to note that I transcend the bis because I go tri.
So you're upset with the bis.
I'm very upset with the bis because I try sexual. And that means, I looked it up in Urban Dictionary, that I have sex with tricycles. And,
I don't think that's what it means.
and what I had to do was buy a tricycle, but instead of a seat, it was a jackhammering dildo with a battery. An Energizer battery, so you know that shit lasts long.
You remove the seat.
I was very sore at the end.
Did you look this up?
I did not. I made this up.
Oh, okay.
But it was very worth it for me because I haven't been touched in a while, so that was good. And also exercise because my ass is sore now.
I think Noob's the only one that buys a Huffy and removes the seat.
I don't think he's the only one. I definitely don't think he's the first one to try that. As a trisexual. So does that mean, as a trisexual man, that you are upset with bisexuals?
It's a fake sexuality. Only trisexuals are real.
Only because a trisexual will try anything.
I feel like he's upset because are you upset because bisexual implies that there's only two genders and you've transcended gender?
No, yeah, there's you can be a trash can as a gender. You can be a goat as a gender. I think there's so many more genders than just male and female.
Isn't there like 800 genders on Facebook?
You can be a rectangle. Like sometimes I wake up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm like, you know what? I'm a rectangle today because I feel square and I'm loved.
All right,
but a rectangle's not square.
No, rectangle is a square, just an elongated square. Yes, an unequilateral square.
That must be math. So
that is math.
I wish you the best of luck with your
Thank you.
You coming out of the closet finally.
I think I'm going to start a trisexual fan page on our Instagram for all the other closeted trisexuals that want to come out and live together in a commune.
It'll be the loneliest fan page ever.
Maybe create like a fake god to worship.
About today? Are you sure about that, Scott?
If it's a sex page led by Noob-Noob, it'll definitely be the loneliest page of all time.
All I have to say is Baby Yoda has had earmuffs on this entire time because we don't want him traumatized. So, audience out there, just be sure to know that Baby Yoda is fine. He's had earmuffs on.
Welcome
he doesn't have to hear any of this nonsense.
Noob-Noob sex page on the internet. Not only am I the president and the founder, but the sole member of the entire group. It is just me and only me. But hey, at least somebody loves me because I have to love me every night.
He loves some himself. So does that mean we're moving on to the reviews?
I think that is finally
or
time.
Or have you dragged
I'm
going
to ride my sexy trisexual cycle to the reviews.
Why don't we have a picture of this sexy trisexual?
Oh, there's
Scott?
that's a real thing?
Sexy trisexual? I don't know.
Fight my shiny metal ass!
These are the reviews tonight.
Okay, these are the reviews.
Reviews.
Yes.
So what would you like to review first there, Noob-Noob?
I feel like we should go with something that's very real, and that's Sharkcanos.
A real thing.
Yes.
Not the fake thing that is a Sharkcano.
Sharkcanos are very real because Shark Week is more than a week, so obviously anything's possible.
That is exactly the show that I saw, and it is horrifying and frightening all at the same time. There is a shark just bursting out of a volcano, shark swimming through lava, spitting lava, shooting it out of their mouths and spouts and holes. No, they don't have spouts. That's a dolphin.
So yeah,
no,
actually,
they have like nose spouts.
actually, Shark Week is coming. I think it's Discovery next
think
week.
it's on.
I'm pretty sure it's already on.
Is
there,
it this
Scott.
week
Like
or
all
next
of
week?
August.
Yeah, it's 5 weeks long, I think.
Wait, how could Shark Week be an
Exactly.
entire
Don't
month?
question it.
Just accept.
Yeah, just accept that sharks are a month long.
Is that more than a month?
It's like a period, but like a whole month
Well,
period.
the shark,
but it's sharks.
Well, Sharkcano wasn't Discovery. That was Nat Geo.
Yeah, it was on Nat Geo.
Yes, it was
are
not.
correct.
Nat Geo
Premiered on Nat Geo.
I think Nat Geo had its own Shark Week thing.
Oh,
the
you're right.
official-
Nat Geo has Shark Fest.
There you go, Shark
Discovery
Fest.
So we
Channel
were
has
completely
Shark
wrong.
Week.
Discovery Channel's Shark Week, which is the biggest week for sharks that I look forward to every year, is next week.
So Shark Fest is like a month long, and that's like comparing the Grateful Dead to that other band that does hippie music that I forget who they are.
You too.
No, not you too. Oh, I made a
Gwen
really bad.
Stefani's No Doubt.
Yes, that's like comparing Gwen Stefani's No Doubt to the Grateful Dead. Those are two very relevant comparisons.
Yes. So should I read the description of of Sharkcano?
Sure, because I was going to tell you exactly what actually happened, but go ahead.
Okay, so ocean engineer Brennan Phillips led a team to the remote Solomon Islands in search for the hydrothermal activity. They found plenty of activity, including sex and sharks in a submarine volcano. The main peak of the volcano, called Comvici, was not erupting during this time like it was in my pants. But they were able to drop instruments, including a deep sea camera, into the crater, and I've grown bored, so what else happens?
I erupted. I erupted huge.
Is that the Meg?
Ah, yes.
I don't think Asians live in volcanoes. You can leave, please.
Wait, what do you mean?
I'll see myself.
Isn't Mount Fuji a volcano?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
They don't live in it.
You saying they don't live in it, so
I think-
so that the Meg has no reason to be there?
Technically, nobody lives in a volcano. It kind of is
This
a
movie
little
would say
high.
otherwise.
And it's definitely not a Shark Boy and Lava Girl sex pic.
But it is
That's for sure.
It is on Nat Geo, not Discovery. So
Let's just say this: it was an hour long, and it's like the biggest shark CT I've ever seen ever. I mean, it was like 50 minutes of like random nonsense about not sharks being in volcanoes, and then all of a sudden at the very, very end, these geologists are trying to watch an underwater explosion. And as they're filming it, there's an eruption that happens, which I guess they knew was going to happen, so they were there and they were within a safe distance. It's very dramatic footage. And then they stick their cameras into the water, and they're like, holy crap, there's a bunch of sharks down here. I wonder what that's about. And then they move on. Like, they weren't researching sharks. They had nothing to do with sharks. They're just like, that's really weird.
It really was the biggest cock tease ever when it came to sharks. It was, they talked about sharks, and they did do some sciencey stuff, albeit over dramatic as hell.
Can we take a quick pause right here? We just had a special guest come in and comment, and it's Sensibly Cynical, who we've had guest on our show, and I've guested on his show multiple times.
Very special
And
guest. Make sure to check out his podcast.
Also, fuck you because you cut me from your 100 episode, you fucking piece of shit. I will hunt you down and throw a Sharkcano up your goddamn asshole and give you cicada AIDS.
Well, that's why he of course said that no one cares about Noob-Noob, because he did cut you. Apparently, though, this Tom Borsnella dude still likes Noob-Noob for some reason.
Everyone likes Noob-Noob
You
from
know
what
what?
I'm hearing.
Fuck you, Tom. That's
Wow.
just all I have to say.
I'm gonna tell
Way
him.
to disrespect.
I'm gonna personally reach out to that guy, Tom, and great name by the way. And I'm gonna probably give him some condoms.
No,
Why
give
would
him-
you give him condoms?
I think our official statement from OrkU is fuck you, Tom Borsnella. Anyway,
Borsnella.
whatever your name is, because it's a weird
probably
last
gonna have
name.
constipation
It's a
later.
weird long last name that has way too many letters in it that should not exist. I don't know what world you came from, but it definitely
Your
was
third
not
grade hooked on phonics spelling.
English.
Yes, I know that's hard.
It was definitely not from this planet.
Okay.
I also did watch Sharkcano as well, Z. And yeah, you're right. It was the biggest cock tease. It was some kind of facts about sharks going through the whole thing, over dramatized footage of
Way
them
over-dramatized.
playing up like they were in danger when they never really were. and then randomly at the end was just a random volcano erupting, which they knew was going to happen. They're like, hey, some sharks showed up. And then they showed basically these two clips that I'm showing you on the screen right here, which I would not be surprised if was just pictures of sharks they took and put a red filter on them.
I would be like, maybe the sharks were there and then got scared off by the volcano and just were like, let's get out of here. Like, I don't know. Like, where do they get off doing this?
So they did say that the sharks disappeared before the volcano erupted, which means they probably knew it was going to happen because they probably did. Animals know that shit. And then after it erupted, the sharks came back.
Yes,
surprise.
There's much science involved in this.
Science. They showed the only thing that did show was that a bull shark can hunt in murky waters. Which we
all knew that because bull sharks hunt in the Ganges River and are the most dangerous shark in India, and they hunt in many rivers. Like, duh.
Well, okay.
So if you know anything about sharks or science, that's
this movie is apparently so special it transcends documentary. It just transcends all ratings because there literally is none.
Well,
there's no rating system. There's no Rotten Tomatoes. There's no IMDb. There's just nothing.
Also, nothing to actually teach you about sharks. This is, you know what? Nat Geo, I think, is trying to sensationalize the same way the History Channel is doing stuff about aliens trying to sensationalize. I'm just going to wait for next week when Shark Week comes on Discovery Channel, which is actually being hosted by The Rock.
Well, that sounds more interesting.
Absolutely.
The Rock, who just bought the XFL.
Yes.
He bought the entire XFL.
He did because it was worth peanuts.
It was worth $5, and he had it.
Well, he's got the Midas touch. So if anyone's going to make gold out of that, it's going to be him.
Sensibly Cynical has no retort to your outburst of rudeness.
No, yes, because our show is great. Thank you, Sensibly Cynical. Your show
is
would be greater if you brought me on more and put me on your 100th episode, but you already lost
as
that
the
chance.
best of clips.
Maybe 200th episode if you make it that far.
I think Jay Burt has it right though, and he says we should have a time machine to make sure that someone was a swallowed load.
What?
Yeah, I believe Noob-Noob probably would have gone better down the stomach.
Oh, I see what he's saying. Then Noob-Noob should not exist. I got you.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
The best part of him ran down his mommy's leg.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Oh, my God. All right, move on.
That's aggressive.
Move on.
My father's actually impotent, so that didn't happen. And
then how are you alive?
Science. And Schrodinger's cat. And that's how I'm alive. And so let's move on to something more realistic.
Are you both alive and not alive?
Yes, let's move on to something more realistic to review, and that's Transformers: The War for Cybertron trilogy on Netflix.
Episode Part 6. Oh, wait a second. Are you talking about Transformers?
Yes, Transformers: Barry in disguise.
Robert
in disguise.
I can't see over the head of me doing work on this computer.
You can't see this over here either? It's literally on two monitors.
I can't move my head and talk at the same time.
Oh, it's very difficult.
Yeah, no. Baby Yoda's head is to the left, to the right. He's everywhere.
There we go.
He can't.
Transformers, robots in disguise.
Roberts in disguise. So yeah, there was it's Transformers: War for Cybertron, the trilogy, parts 1 through 6, or episodes 1 through 6.
Wait, it's a trilogy, but it's parts 1 through 6.
The first part was 6 episodes. Each episode was like 20 minutes long.
Okay.
But which part is the trilogy? The first 3 episodes? The second 2 episodes? What's the trilogy
episode
here?
6 ended on a cliffhanger, so I'm assuming there's going to be another part that's going to be another 6 episodes, maybe? Nobody knows.
Nobody does know. What did you think of this, Scott? I will just say briefly, before we break it down a little bit, because it's all Generation 1, like it's OG Transformers. I thought that was pretty cool. The animation was very different. So, I don't know. What did you think, Scott?
Animation was very different. If you wanted 6 episodes of Optimus Prime mulling over whether or not he made the right decision and then making stupid decisions afterwards, then you'd enjoy it. But that's all it was 6 episodes of him just mulling to himself, I hope I've made the right choices in this life because...
There is a lot of mulling, yes. I thought this was a little deep for kids. I was like, is this a kid's show? I mean, they literally have a backstory that they don't really go into of Prime and Megatron were apparently gladiators in some sort of slave pits for other robots.
Or,
I don't really-
or they were
and then
like,
they-
or they were,
they rose
or
up.
they were in mines or something. They were mining something, maybe.
And then, but they were also gladiators.
Yeah,
Because that's where Megatron sets up his base, is in the former Gladiator. I don't really understand it. I didn't really get what was going on. Here's a big thing about the show. None of the original voice actors, as far as I know it, were the same.
No.
They
yeah.
picked all new voice actors. Although I will say I did think they were trying to do impressions of Optimus and Megatron and Starscream. Like, they were all like right in the wheelhouse. They weren't
close.
bad.
I think Starscream was the closest when it comes down to it.
Yes.
But
He was very much so Megatron.
other
That's
than
a very
that,
basic-
yeah.
Megatron.
Did you watch the show?
I watched.
You didn't watch
I
any of it.
watched the Shia LaBeouf trilogy, and that's all I
Of
need.
course, yeah, and that's there's not even a Starscream in that, is there?
Yes, there is.
Really? What
Starscream's in
happened?
every one until he
was
dies.
not. No. Mm-mm.
He is.
Ron does say that Bumblebee is the best. Bumblebee was also a very different character. He, spoiler alert, does not start off as an Autobot. There's like multiple races of robots on this
Whoa,
planet.
this is
There's like
getting
multiple
diverse.
factions. Well, there's the Decepticons, the Autobots. There's another group of mercenaries, apparently.
What about the sex
And then
robots?
That was
Scavengers. One of the factions of the Decepticons were the Seekers, which I guess they were looking for the Golden Snitch.
I suppose they were looking for the Golden
Oh,
Snitch.
jeez.
I did think it was really cool. There were so many like OG characters that they hinted to. I actually have like a whole article of people that they refer to if you're into the whole Generation 1 characters. One thing I thought that was like super cool is there's a point where they go to they actually go to see Soundwave, his clone, which is kind of like a joke, like an inside joke where it's like a knockoff of
I guess, and like and
Soundwave.
and he was sensitive because he was a defective version of Soundwave. So
Yeah. And they actually had, which I didn't know, is one of the characters that was in it was he was voted on by fans as to who they most wanted to see. But like a lot, like if you know anything about Transformers, you know like the Seekers are all planes, right? Well, in the original Generation 1 toys, there's like 18 different colors of the Starscream model, and that's just essentially what it was. They just like made the same model. So they had all of those guys. They also had like there's another Bumblebee. I forget what his name is. They did show there was also Shockwave, Soundwave. Soundwave had his little like bird character that comes out of his chest because he's a tape cassette. Like anybody would know what that is at this stage in the game. No one would know what a tape cassette was. But I thought that was the coolest character that ever existed. But I think if you're a big fan of Gen 1, you're going to be into it. I don't know if it's so much for kids.
it was. I mean, you are right. It was extremely diverse.
What do you mean it was diverse? I never said that.
Yeah, you did earlier. It was.
What?
It fell flat. The whole thing,
You didn't like
all
it?
6 episodes. I didn't like it. It wasn't really anything good. Like I said, it was just them all mulling over it and then talking to each other. It was lacking in action big time. It was just a weak ass storyline. There was nothing good about it.
Lacking in
It was
action.
lacking. It was because most of it was them just standing around talking to each other. There was nothing like special about this. It wasn't good at all.
Transformers soap opera.
Yeah,
Who-
that's actually. I think that's what I could say is a Transformer soap opera.
Look, it did lose me at times. I don't think it needed to be 6 episodes. That's for sure. They could have cut that thing down. And that translates to what? 22 minutes times 6. I mean, it's over 2 hours long as far as like a movie. So I agree there. I think there was a lot of weird like bantering back and forth. They did have who's the? It's not Rodimus Prime. Who's the guy from the original cartoon movie? Who's supposed? He was the guy who gets captured in this.
Oh,
The hell's that guy's name?
Magnus.
Ultra
Ultra
Magnus.
Magnus, yes.
Soundwave?
Magnus
Ultra
Erectus.
Magnus.
Yes, Magnus Erectus.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was. It's a prequel to the original cartoon, as Bootleg says, which I thought was cool, and it ends in a big cliffhanger. And the only thing I'll say is it reminds me a little bit of the Godzilla trilogy that came out. Now, when I first watched the Godzilla trilogy, I really wasn't a big fan of it, but the further I get away from it and some of the things that they re-added to it made me like it a little bit better. And like on further thought being removed from it, I liked it more. And I think I'm going to think about this the same way because it really treated the original characters with a lot of like, they had like Ratchet and, like Ironside. Yeah.
Like Ironhide. Jetfire, Alita A, Sideswipe, Skywarp, Cliffjumper.
All the OG characters.
I'm just going to sum up. Pretty much this is what happens in every episode, all 6 episodes. Is one character goes up to Optimus Prime and says,
Optimus, I will stay behind so all you can escape and keep them fought off.
and then Optimus responds with, your sacrifice will be honored for the ages.
He never says
We
that.
will remember you as we move forward. All for one.
That's all he says. That's the only thing he actually said.
That's
was
all he
for one.
says.
He never says what Scott said.
All 6 times.
No,
that's
not
the
what
same
happened.
thing over and over again. Is somebody sacrifices, somebody survives.
That is not the plot of
something
this
stupid
show.
happens. There's nothing good about this.
Does Optimus Prime say Autobots roll out over and over again?
No. I think he says Autobots, let's go, or something like that. He doesn't say
Isn't
roll
it
out.
weird that they're like cars? Like they're all. It's interesting because they transform, but they don't transform into like stuff from the first. Like they're the. I mean, they haven't scanned any Earth vehicles, but they're still sort of Earth vehicles, and most of them have giant guns on the top of them. I don't know. I liked it. It was cool. But by the way, what is Netflix or what is the tomatoes meter say?
Tomato meter is 100%, and then the audience score is 86%. But I don't think there's a whole lot of it because it doesn't say how many reviews.
Didn't they
for
change
each.
their stuff? Like they're not telling people that anymore.
Oh, I guess maybe they're not. Yeah,
I don't think they're like allowing review bombing until after 35 days of watched.
That's the
Sure.
new system that they have going.
Yeah, I know they're changing some of their stuff.
Yeah, it says it's visually stunning, surprisingly deep, and still a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fine.
So
I wouldn't say it's amazing, but I thought it was fine. It was good. It's enjoyable.
And I won't be tuning in for the second part or the third one.
Oh,
for
you
that
will.
matter.
you know what? It's
No,
not
I
as
won't.
fun as Umbrella Academy
It's
season 2.
No, it's
Yes.
way more fun than that.
No, it's not. Umbrella
So far,
Academy
that's a slog.
is so fun.
It's such a slog. I can't
What do you
even.
mean? Why is it a slog? What
Okay.
about it is a slog?
So and I don't want to do too many spoilers because I'm only halfway through it. And Scott, you can correct me if I'm wrong. This is just a rehashing of the first season. And there's zero character development and zero character growth and I'll explain this.
So we're gonna do a full review.
No,
once
we're
you've
not going to
watched
do a full
it, like-
review. We're going to do like at least an explanation of where the hell the characters are, so it makes no freaking sense whatsoever.
Okay.
Like I said, zero character development on any of the characters. Essentially, all the characters are exactly the same as the first season.
We do remember when we reviewed the first season, there was something I said. Oh, what was it? Because of the
sucks.
stupid time travel thing that they're doing, nothing mattered in the first season. They've started completely over. The entire first season was just junk and thrown away. And now this is something completely new that also isn't going to matter because of time travel.
Yeah, but they're still the same people that they were before they time traveled. So they would have some kind of character growth. There would be some kind of character arcs there.
Unfortunately, there
I
wasn't.
mean, Vanya was. She's like I like.
Vanya has
likes
amnesia
farms.
again.
Yeah, she likes farms.
Oh, and somehow, oh my god, I don't even want to get into the
She
Vanya
likes
character.
lesbian farm wives.
Yeah, she the whole reason, spoiler season 1, the whole reason why there's an not Armageddon. Is it Armageddon?
Yeah, it's technically Armageddon.
Yeah,
It's Armageddon.
the
It's
whole reason the
nuclear
world
winter.
ends- well, the whole reason why the world ends is because she gets a boyfriend, and in this season,
A lot more than that, but
she's
yeah,
a
sure.
lesbian. So you could just go from having a boyfriend to being a lesbian.
She had amnesia, so she forgot she liked dick.
She forgot. She forgot how great that
Maybe-
was.
Like, you know what?
Noob.
50-year-old vagina smells better.
Maybe she's trisexual.
Oh my god.
So anyway,
Calling the page.
so she forgets who she is, just like she forgot in the first season. She forgot she had superpowers. She forgot everything that happened before, everything, right? Let's
Sure.
talk about. I do love
The
some
only
of the characters.
the only saving grace about her is that this season you actually do get to see some of her superpowers. She actually does use them here and there, not to their full extent, but you do see it finally. So that's her only saving grace. But no, it was still just her amnesic trying to remember who the hell she is once again.
Luther is a mopey jackass.
I love
Stays
Luther.
Annoying. Can't
cool.
stand him.
Number
so
5 is
irritating.
the best.
Number 5's the best. Fantastic
best.
actor. I hope to see a lot more out of that kid. He's great. I do also like Klaus. Klaus is great, but Klaus also didn't change at all.
Still, Klaus is dope.
But,
He is dope.
But
He's great.
Klaus,
Great
but
character.
this was definitely a time frame that Klaus fit into a lot better than the original one. He started a cult, multiple cults actually.
Yes.
Yes.
And his interactions with Ben are probably the best things about that season.
By the way, why is Ben still being like? He's being fridged. They should have more of a story with Ben, and Ben's like barely in it. Like he's just there to be a prop for Klaus. So shame on you, Umbrella Factory. I shame you.
Maybe if you keep watching,
No, we'll
there's
see.
other things that happen.
Let's talk about the one that annoys me the most, which is the rumor.
Oh.
The rumor who literally had an awful relationship that she broke up with her boyfriend and was struggling with her husband and deciding whether or not she wanted to be with Luther and all this other nonsense with Luther, and has a child that she whines about in every goddamn episode
I forgot
of the first
she had
season.
a child, to be honest.
Magically comes to 1960s America and just marries a dude in a year and doesn't tell him anything about herself. And she just doesn't care about her kid, doesn't care about getting back to the future, isn't worried about anything. She just cares about her activism. That's all that's important to her.
I completely forgot that. That's why she doesn't rumor, is because she rumored her kid at some point in the first season.
Yeah,
I honestly forgot she had kids.
Yeah, they didn't get into that at all. In fact, in season 2, the only reason they said that he didn't rumor was because she got her throat slit in the first one, and it took her a month to learn how to talk again.
It took her a year to talk again.
A year to learn how to talk again. So that's why she doesn't rumor now, not because she rumored her kid, which was the first season. It's
bad writing.
They've forgotten everything.
Bad
It
writing.
really is bad writing.
There's
It's
a
awful.
goldfish that talks.
If you remember what I said about Umbrella Factory is, wow, this is kind of a quaint show. I like the fact that it's written by, the kid from, not a kid, but the guy from My Chemical Romance.
Martin Gaye?
No, isn't it Gabrielle?
Voyer?
No. Oh, Gerard Way and Gabrielle Bay.
There we go.
Gerard Way is the singer of My Chemical Romance. I keep forgetting that guy's name for some reason. Anyway, here's what's interesting. If you take Game of Thrones was fantastic because it has fantastic source material. When they ran out of source material, it got to suck. The source material for Umbrella Academy, if you ever read the comic books, which I have, they're very sparse in their. It's like a 6-issue arc each one. They're going to run out of it real soon because they only have 3 arcs through the entire Umbrella Academy.
Is this season an arc?
Yes, there's one called Dallas 1960. So far, it's completely deviated from the story. And the point is that there's the source material is so light, it's not very dense. I'm not saying it's not good, it's just not very dense, that they have to fill in a lot of gaps. There's 10 episodes, which is too long, too much vamping, and poor writing, and they just don't know what to do. So they're like, we'll just do season 1 again because we like these characters and we don't care. Because in the comic books, some of these characters don't like show up in the other parts. So they're just jamming everybody in because they like their cast.
In this arc, Luther is supposed to be fat, but they didn't do that because Fat Thor was already a thing. They did get into him overeating in this season, which that was part of the comic book lore, but they didn't do Fat Luther because, it was already done. So
That's no excuse. You should stick to the source material.
Okay.
Well, when the source material is better than what you got, you know what I mean? Where it's like a complete inversion of Game of Thrones, where Game of Thrones sucked because it ran out of source material. This sucks because A, it strayed from the source material, and B, it doesn't suck. It's just I'm like bored. I'm like really struggling to get through this season.
Well, people don't agree with you.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. Umbrella Academy Season 2, 90% critic consensus. Proof.
Oh, yeah, because you like the critics, huh?
Proof that time can heal almost all wounds. Umbrella Academy's exhilarating second season lightens its tonal load without losing its emotional core, giving the super siblings room to grow while doubling down on the time-traveling fun.
I will give them that.
necessarily
I
agree
will
with
give.
that,
I
but-
will give them that season 2 was better than season 1. But
I'm
it's
not saying it's
still,
not. It's a reboot of season
Yeah.
1 that's better.
But it's not. But it's still not a winner.
It's a-
tighter, more confined,
Season
better
1
version of season 1. Yeah.
But that means that your season 1 sucked, and why did you bother doing? You know what I mean? Like, why did you screw up season 1?
The
Like,
characters are still good enough to watch alone. Like the story could be trash. I still like the characters enough to watch it.
I will agree with you on that, but I still think that this is another example of Netflix's weak writing, weak editing. They need to learn to edit, cut some of the crap out.
I think they do have something going here where they do have strong actors. The story is this is one of those cases where we've had instances before that amazing actors can't save a bad script. I think this is an instance where we have great actors saving a bad script.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would agree. I love Klaus and number 5 and Ben.
Yes, and Ben. The three of them carry the show for me, and everybody else is just.
And
kinda
you
trash.
haven't gotten there yet, but Scott, I love the way it ended, and I think season 3 could be even more interesting.
It has not yet been renewed for season 3, which is unusual for Netflix. Netflix has a timetable they like to stick to, so we'll see what happens. I can't imagine it won't be renewed for season 3.
I'd be pissed.
They don't have any source material though beyond this. They have
You're
one
gonna have to
thing.
be pissed. See, they do a climax, they do a cliffhanger, and unless they do a season 3, there's going to be a wide open end on this. Or actually, you know what? This could just be an open-ended cliffhanger that you just kind of live with. The same way I thought that that the Avengers movie, Infinity Wars, could have been the last movie of the series.
Yeah, no one was going to do that. Scott.
This could be the last part of Umbrella Academy with this huge cliffhanger and what happens next, and just leave it out in the air and just let it go.
It's not. I highly doubt it. So it's Umbrella Academy Apocalypse Suite, which is season 1. Second season was Umbrella Academy Dallas, and then there's another one that returned 10 years later, which was Hotel Oblivion. That one got finished, but again, that one's weird because not all the characters in it are in it. And there's another one that's called something about sparrows. I forget. What?
Nothing.
That's Jack Sparrow. That's
I like
Yes.
Jack Sparrow.
Umbrella
It's
Academy
called
travels
Sparrows.
to old
Yes.
Klaus
Klaus makes a trisexual sparrow eat
Sparrow
Ben.
Academy. There you go. That's the fourth potential season, which has not even been released on DVD. Like hasn't been released yet in comic book form. I'm sorry.
Well,
So it hasn't even been written. So
well,
I
I
don't
guess
know how
they
you adapt
better.
something that hasn't been written.
I guess they better get to that writing of that comic book.
Yes,
well.
they should.
They should. So anyway,
I like it. I would recommend it. So yeah.
I'm not saying no, but I'm not saying yes. I'm saying it's better than season 1 so far, but I'm still like, oh, that was my point is we were watching Umbrella Academy and we were saying like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. And then The Boys came along and The Boys said, F you, took them out. The Boys so much better. If you're looking for a superhero show, watch The Boys. Don't watch this.
I mean, you can watch it. See, by the second half of the series might change your mind. It does pick up speed. The second half is better than the first half. I will say that much. So stick
5
with it.
episodes in, I'm annoyed. So
Well, stick with the other couple episodes. Finish it up. Is stronger than the first half of it. It's viewable. It's not something you're gonna get tied into, but it's viewable.
all right, I'll take your word for it.
And that's all we have.
That's it. That's all she wrote, folks.
So, if you like what you heard here this week, head on over to Instagram and check us out at ork_you. Go over to youtube.com/our reviews will kill you to join in the fun there. If you're listening to us on Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, and soon Amazon Music and Podcaster. What? I still have to sign us up, but yeah, that's happening soon. You can check us out at youtube.com/our reviews will kill you. We are still live on Friday nights. Thank you to everyone that jumped in the chat with us. Doc, Jay Bird, Jay Torres, the Shrade Dog, Bootleg Sampler, The Jesus, Tom Borsnella, fuck you. Sensibly cynical. He dropped in.
Some random person requesting wine named Indra.
Hello to
Who?
everybody that popped in the chat, and we hope to see you again next time. And if you're watching us YouTube, subscribe, like, and share. Get your friends to come join us. We want to see those number boost up, and you are going to be the secret behind that.
Share the secret. That is, our reviews will kill you. And from all of us here at Our Reviews Will Kill You to all of you at home, we love you. You've had greatest of fear.